What's going on, guys? My name is Barney and welcome back to a new video. I know that the Kickstarter was out, but I was a weekend away when the Kickstarter was there, so I was back 2 days after the Kickstarter was there, and then I found it kind of irrelevant to make a video on it. If you haven't pledged some money on the Kickstarter yet, please be sure to do it as fast as possible. But I found an article a few days ago, and it was actually kind of a good article in my opinion. It wasn't perfect, of course, and that's the article you see right now on the screen. I kind of agree with some points this author makes, and basically I'm going to make a breakdown of this article. And let's just start reading. That's the first thing I want to say. Raw Vengeance has spent the last 2 years working on their third-person comic shooter, and now they have finally brought Renegade Line to Kickstarter. That's true. The game aims to be a mix between Team Fortress 2 and Saints Row. So I do not agree, since it's just inspired by Battlefield Heroes. That's the first thing I want to mention to the author. I don't know if the author will see this. Team Fortress 2, it's kind of cartoony, you know, so that's and a little bit the tactics might be the same a little bit as Team Fortress 2, but the class system is totally different. Maybe the art style and not even the game modes like payload and stuff. Maybe their Team Fortress 2 is comparable because of the cartoony things and whatever. And Saints Row, I'm not familiar with Saints Row, so I can't really judge of that. Featuring absurdly clad characters with RPG-style leveling mechanics. The team has done a great job, but some of the plans they have laid out for the future give me pause. Renegade Line is seeking $52,162, which is 50,000 euros, on Kickstarter. It's a third-person shooter where two factions battle for supremacy and silly outfits. The game features 4 different classes, each with a host of unique talents and weapons at their disposal. All true, pretty okay piece of the article. Players have the ability to completely customize their character before being set loose to hunt down their opponents. True, so far so good, but then we get to the competitive features, and this is where it gets interesting, of course. I came here for the concept art. All players engage in casual matches until level 30, when all their talent points have been unlocked. After this, they have the option to play in ranked matches, which give them a rating based on performance. Pretty basic. This rating determines their overall rank, and they have the option to form and join clans. Having a competitive element isn't a problem per se, but it feels like a shift from the earlier focus on the comedic tone. I want to say something about this, but I'll read the next paragraph first, since that one is a little bit more direct to the competitive scene. The campaign page mentions that Raw Vengeance would ultimately like to see Renegade Line be comparable with esports, with a focus on tactics and player skill. So how does this serious test of shooter skills line up with a man in underwear and bunny ears chasing you down with a gun? It just strikes me as the wrong fit for what they'd set out to create, which seemed to be something more lighthearted and fun. So I get what she's saying, and I kind of agree. Like, you want to be very competitive and being taken seriously into esports and whatever, and then you have those silly outfits. But that paradox is also kind of funny to see. Like, it's going to be all serious and stuff, and then you have people walking in underwear and whatever. That's kind of funny to see. So it's a sort of paradox. It seems to be opposite, but alright, it seems to be opposite, but you could see it from another perspective, that the opposites of each other come together, and that creates the fun of the game. So you can see it from 2 perspectives. I kind of agree with her, but you can also see it from another perspective. Let's read further. I'm not saying you can't have both, but it's something that has to be measured carefully, a delicate balance, if you will. One that isn't readily apparent just yet. So she, the author, thinks that the balance isn't there yet, that it's too comedic and too competitive to fit together, so that they will have to adjust those things on each other so it will be fit perfectly, which I kind of agree with. Okay, so the team's plans for upcoming features is promising. I agree with that. All the stretch goals in the Kickstarter are very promising. But there's also the problem that it's very promising, like she's going to say over here. Everything from an MMO RPG, like menu lobby to living map and extensive game modes. There's no denying that Raw Vengeance are passionate about this project and excited to work with the backer community to take it farther, way further apparently, as they also plan to release an app to track in-game markets and communication. Not to mention also producing an in-game radio channel updated with news about the game, clan happenings, forum topics and gameplay music. So this is a big sum of features they want to have implemented in the beta if the Kickstarter will be very successful. I doubt it. I don't think they will reach the 250,000 euro mark, of course. I think a max of 100k, but that's also not really realistic in my opinion. They will reach the goal for certain, I think, the 50,000 goal to bring the project to live, but I think it will stop at like 80k. So this is still a bit describing this part, and now we're going into her opinion again. Seriously, it sounds amazing. How feasible is all of it, really? With feasible, for the not English speaking people, it's a bit of a difficult word. Feasible is, can they actually make it? Can they make it in time? Isn't it too much to handle for such a unexperienced team? And this is kind of a part I have to agree with, actually. You could have a whole team just dedicated to the radio channel and app production, which is true, of course. A small team could be doing it as well, but then the progression will be way slower, the beta release will be even slower, and that's, I think, kind of annoying for players who want to play the game for free already, who haven't bought an alpha key or came to the project after the Kickstarter was finished. So, is the Kickstarter goal going to be enough to create all of this content, finish the game, and host enough servers to get this off the ground? I'm asking honestly because potential backers will probably want to know how the team is prioritizing so many massive undertakings. And so am I. I have to agree with her. They're taking a lot of stuff in their hands. They're promising a lot, and they have been doing that ever since they made the project. I think they're really passionate about the project, and that's really nice to see. They really want the game to be the best situation as possible. What I want to say, maybe it's a bit too much. We don't know what they can do with the budget, but we will see. This is just speculating a bit, so let's continue. Maybe I'm worrying needlessly. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. It's good that you're saying this kind of stuff, since that needs to be mentioned as well. Is it realistic to do all of this? It's entirely possible that Raw Vengeance really does have this all planned out, and that Renegade Line really will have the best of all worlds when it releases. Hell, I hope it does, but I don't think it can. I don't think Raw Vengeance has planned out everything, but I think they have planned out ideas for the next two maps, for example. They have the daytime, the winter time, whatever. I think they will have those things kind of planned already, since I think they were aware of the goal that they can reach 50,000 fairly easily if some people donated the maximum amount. They're just a small, unexperienced team, so things can go slower than expected, and that could be really annoying for the backers. Renegade Line is still in development, but already the in-game art doesn't live up to the stylish promotional graphics. Character customization is lauded as a huge part of the game, but most of the models end up looking relatively the same. Sure, you can accessorize a bit, but everyone is a beefy lumberjack sort, and seriously, why no female characters? Well, the female characters is just more effort, since they already had difficulties with making 4 different classes with 4 different torsos and whatever. So if you have to do female characters with it, it's even more effort. So I don't think female characters is very necessary. I think it should be in the game eventually, as long as not everyone is playing as a naked woman, like in other MMORPGs, which I kind of hate. But I have to agree that everything almost looks the same. These two outfits look kind of different and stuff, but most of the times we see pullovers or whatever. It's kind of the same, but of course the accessories and the customization will be better in the future, and we will just have to see what Raw Vengeance has to bring to us. Overpromising is an easy trap to fall into. Peter Molyneux seemingly can't make a game without doing it. But while Molyneux, I don't know who this man is, can get away with this relatively unscathed, I don't know what it means, developers of crowdfunded projects don't have that luxury. Failing to fulfill what was promised to backers can ruin the developer's reputation, often irrecoverably. The campaign is already getting lots of community support on Kickstarter. Hopefully Renegade Line will live up to their expectations. I think Renegade Line will live up to the expectations, but the real question is how fast can Renegade Line do it? I'm afraid that it will be a little bit too slow since the team is just unexperienced and they're doing it in their as part-time jobs. That can be a little bit of a bottleneck for the project, but I have full faith in Raw Vengeance that they can make a very fun and competitive game together, a very comedic, competitive game. The paradox is there, the very competitive and serious part combined with the fun part. It's just, in my opinion, it fits perfectly as long as it's in the right proportions. That's not too comedic and whatever, and not too competitive. But if you have the proportions right, it can be a great game. So I also don't know. It's Joanna Mueller who made this article. I don't know if she's into the Renegade Line community. I don't think so. I think she's just someone who looks up things on Kickstarter and GoFundMe and whatever, and then just writes an article about the feasibility of the project, or maybe even some other articles. I don't know her work, but what I wanted to say with this article after the sort of breakdown. It's not bad that she isn't negative. She's building up critiques and stuff, and actually thinking like, hey, is this project feasible? Is it realistic, this project? And it's good to ask these questions, and maybe the devs can, developers can make a plan to, or they even realize like, hey, we have to do this correctly, otherwise a lot of backers will be disappointed, our reputation will be going down. And that's what I wanted to say with this short video, I guess. I think it's around 10 minutes. I can't really see, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Sorry for not making a Kickstarter video. Like I said in the beginning, if you haven't donated yet, please click the first link in the description. Just support the project, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later!